Good evening, everybody. This is another session for the Society of Petroleum Engineers, the Women Network. Today, I'm going to be your presenter. My name is Freda Amuah, and the topic for today is Becoming a Better You. Just some quotes before we commence. Matthew Mullins said, "The only person you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday." And another interesting nursery rhyme or kindergarten rhyme that I really love is that time waits for no one. What you have to do, do quick. With that, I will tell you who I am and some notable things about me. For a start, after my high school, I started out and went for petroleum engineering with Covenant University, where I graduated as top 3 in class. I worked for some years, then I went back for a master's in petroleum engineering, organized by IFP School France and another school in Nigeria. I was top 5 in my class. And currently I'm doing my PhD research work in the World Bank school in Africa. I've had 1 or 2 scholarships here and there, World Bank Group, Total Scholarship, and some other ones. Currently, I'm a cementing engineer with Slumbiche Baku. And before then, I had some roles in indigenous companies in Nigeria, business development roles, and coil tubing engineering roles. So for today, the importance of this session is to show us how the oil and gas industry is evolving. This session is not just for female, it's for anybody in the oil and gas sector. For example, my company is restructuring. They are turning down some positions and they are creating new positions. For example, if you go online and do some search for jobs, especially for entry level and mid-level management, you find jobs like business analyst, resident engineer, petroleum engineer with coding abilities, chemical petroleum engineer. What does that tell us? It simply tells us that the world is metamorphosing and the fourth revolution, which is digitalization, is taking place. And the conventional petroleum engineer would most likely have little or no space in the future of work. Now, I also went further and did some digging. I did some research, and I checked for most job postings from Glassdoor, from LinkedIn, and from Insider, different sources basically. And I tried to find out what is their top programming skills requirements in all the jobs they posted. And you see things like SQL, Java, Python. Basically, for petroleum engineering related jobs, they are beginning to ask for coding experience. Then I decided to dig further. Okay, what is going to improve the performance of AI in the industry, and how is it going to improve? So as you can see, in the oil and gas sector is going to be 79% according to analytics technique. That being said, I decided to ask a question. This is me asking myself questions. Are these recruiters only looking for people with hard skills like computing, coding, and the likes? Aren't there going to be need for soft skills? So I checked LinkedIn and they did this compilation last 2 months. That's the recent I could find. And they found out that for the top soft skills, aside from hard skills like analytical reasoning, cloud computing, UX design, and various coding skills, the top 5 soft skills would be creativity, persuasion, collaboration, adaptability, and emotional intelligence. And they went on to explain why these skills will be needed. Since we are metamorphosing, we're most likely going to be phasing out people with higher level of experience. For example, 20 plus years of experience, those guys, they might be giving them severance package and stuff like that. So anyone who is coming in, I spoke to some recruiters and they said, anyone who is going to come into any organization now would need to understand that they are like a metamorphosis. They are changing from the conventional way to the disruptive way of doing things. And because they're going to have older colleagues with the conventional way of doing things, and since they're coming in with disruptive way of doing things, they will need to have some really soft skills that are needed. For example, persuasion. Why persuasion? Because they're going to be working with older guys. You will need to be able to convince them that this new idea you are bringing is really needed, and not just needed, it's going to work. And with that, that leads to collaboration. Why being persuasive? You have to be able to work with this team of people, and adaptability as well, because you need to be able to change. Like for instance, most companies are working from home. I heard from Twitter that most companies are going to be working from, Twitter is going to be working from home till end of this year, even if they lift the lockdown in the States. That means you have to be adaptable. You have to learn adaptability skills and also emotional intelligence, not just soft emotions, but hard emotions as well. Because emotional intelligence, it's emotional intelligence actually comes to play where communication comes to play. Now, because we're working remotely, and most likely is going to be a thing, is going to be a part of the future of work, you need to be emotionally intelligent. You need to be able to understand what the other person is saying. And communication skill, effective and efficient communication skill, is going to be a top requirement. Now, I tried to check, okay, with all these skills, what is the demand for oil and gas jobs in the industry right now? And from this chart on the right, we can see in blue that the demand for oil and gas specialists or engineers basically is reducing by minus 10% for so many reasons, which includes, for example, the COVID-19 situation, the fact that supply is more than demand, so many reasons, so many factors come to play. These charts alone should be able to tell you that you need to be better than what your predecessors were. You need to be better than what you are learning in school now. You need to be better than what you're doing at your job now. Now, I try to dig further. Okay, what is the impact of technology on different aspects, different industries? For the purpose of this presentation, we'll be looking at new energy supplies and technology. And it shows that for between 2015 and 2017, the impact wasn't so much. Between 2018 and 2020, the impact began to increase. And between 2021 and 2025, the impact is going to increase significantly. Yes. Then I decided to note down some things that, okay, it simply means that with what is going on now, with the way the world is changing, there are some basic skills a graduating student needs. Not just a graduating student, there are some basic skills, fundamental skills that a young professional needs, and every professional in the oil and gas industry, because really nothing is going to go back to normal. Nothing is going to go back to, because I learned Chevron is restructuring, BP is restructuring, they're going to drop some people and they're going to add some people. 2020 is the year the world hits the master reset button, and currently we're installing a new software for the year. It's best to start developing yourself for what is coming. Now, I tried to do some further research. What were the top 10 skills 5 years ago that were needed? As you can see on the right, in 2015, you see basic human relationship skills, active listening, creativity. But in 2020, these skills have evolved. As you can see, the first one is still complex problem solving, because for every problem, everybody needs a solution. In short, the more solutions you can provide, the more relevant you are in your workplace. And in order to provide solutions, you need to be able to critically think. I'm not saying that the average, what you learned in school or what you're doing at your job now is irrelevant. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, because the world is changing, the fourth industrial revolution is coming, is happening now, And because you are part of it, you need to be able to do some things. You need to be able to learn some things that would help you be part of the revolution and make you relevant even when the revolution has finally come to stay. That is why I'm listing all these skills, and I'm listing with statistics and history, because I believe that the more statistics we have, the more we can be able to make better decisions on ourselves. Because the only way you can be better every day is to know what is happening around you. Now, back to the top 10 skills of 2020. Creativity, people management, communicating with others, emotional intelligence, all these are very, very important for 2020 and beyond. It's very important because the workplace is changing. Okay, what if, for example, there's a second wave of the pandemic, and we need to work from home maybe for the rest of the year? Are you saying you're not going to get jobs? I know people who have gotten jobs, entry-level jobs, mid-level jobs during this lockdown, and they're working from home and getting paid. They're working remotely and getting paid because they have these basic skills. Now, why do I need to be better for my own self? Like I said, the world is changing. By having digitalization, work from home, the fourth industrial revolution is happening now. For young professionals, you need to be better to avoid complacency, because there's this thing that happens, oh, because I already have a job, I don't need to do too much, I just need to focus on my job. No, you don't need to focus on your job. You need to be able to work in teams. You need to be able to do more for yourself. You need to be able to increase your value and your worth in the team. Because even if you don't get dropped, even if you don't get laid off this period, in order to stay relevant, you need to understand what is happening in 2020. You need to understand why things are happening in 2020, and you need to know the relevant skills you need to build and how to get them. Okay, so now how can you be better? For example, in Nigeria, there's something we have. There's a state called Lagos. So it's the busiest city in West Africa, and it has about 21 million people. So because of the congestion, there's always traffic. So people get up as early as 4 a.m. to start their commute to work. A commute of 30 minutes in some less dense city can take you up to 4 hours to get to. Now, how can you be better? So there's something we always say in Lagos, when we talk about Lagos traffic, we say, you need to show up. You just need to show up no matter what. You just need to show up. That's what I'm trying to say now. How can you be better? You need to show up for yourself. You need to say, oh, I don't care what's happening in the world right now. I don't want to know if it's going to affect me positively or negatively, but I need to show up for myself. I need to do better for myself. Now, another thing you need to do is you need to network on professional platforms, LinkedIn especially. You need to network physically. You need to network in your organization. You need to network everywhere you are. You need to network. You don't know what's going to change your life. You don't know what's going to change your situation. It could be a phone call. It could be someone can just refer you. I heard of a story of a guy who met someone at the airport, and he helped the guy with his extra luggage and stuff like that. They exchanged contacts. And 6 months down the line, they were just talking like normal friends. They were even from different industries. 6 months down the line, he found out that this guy he helped at the airport was the CEO of a startup company. And before you know it, he called the guy, oh, what skills do you have? I'm starting this company. And bam, next thing you know, he got a job, and not just a job, he became partner in the firm. What am I trying to say? You need to network. As a graduating student, you need, especially now when you can't even have physical contact with people, you need to network. You need to make your online presence felt. You need to start doing, for example, write-ups on LinkedIn. Perfect your online presence. One of the most important ways to be more employable in 2020 is to streamline your online presence and show the best you to the world. If you're applying for a new job, you'll be Googled. That is for sure. They're going to check you on Google, check your social media, your Facebook, your Twitter, what you say, how you... I know we've all heard of the story of the girl who got an internship in NASA, but because of her conduct on Twitter, she was sacked before she even resumed. Things like that. Now, it is important that your online presence looks as professional as the one you are trying to achieve with your application. Review everywhere you could apply online to ensure you appear at your very best, anyone looking. Unsure on where to start, follow our guide on how to create the best first impression with a professional online presence. And again, another thing is you need to develop skill sets and competencies. For example, like I said in my previous analytics, in the previous slides, that let me go back to the slide. Yeah, for top programming skills for any job now. For example, like before even starting this meeting, I went to Chevron page on LinkedIn and I checked, okay, what is the entry level, what are the entry level jobs they have or the internships they have? And I checked and I saw programming skills, for example, SQL, Python, ggplot2. And I'm like, oh, this is getting really interesting. So you need to equip yourself with programming skills. I don't know if they are being taught in the schools here, but I know they started to teach them in some schools in US and UK, and they are really, really enforcing it. Now back to it. You can, if you don't have that in school, or if you don't have access to such information at your workplace, you can use online learning platforms like edx.org, coursera.org, Allison courses. There's so many, Udemy. You can learn anything. And the thing is that learning online is self-paced. So you can wake up one morning and decide to learn and learn and learn and learn for the whole day, especially now we're working from home. Nobody monitors your time. And lastly, how you can be better, you need to have a growth mindset. So in Schlumberger, there's this session we do. If you go for your second technical school, second training, they teach you, we have one full day for understanding the growth mindset. The growth mindset is not about you waiting for someone to give you a task to do. It's about you being forward. It's about you showing yourself, oh, you need, for example, it's about you volunteering. Oh, they're doing an SP, they're doing an SP session, they're doing an SP workshop online. Oh, how can I help? What can I do? You have to be forward. You have to put yourself in front. That way, you don't know who is recognizing you. You don't know which CEO is looking at you. You don't know which country manager is looking at you. And eventually, you're going to land a role or something in their company. Now, in conclusion, the future of work may or may not be a level playing ground, like I said before, because most of us, we already have a job, so we're focusing on the job. We're not trying to metamorphose, we're not trying to learn new things. Okay, even if you're learning new things, you're not learning it as fast as those who have already been laid off. They are more desperate because they know that when opportunities open again, they know they need to have some certain skills. And again, for young guys who are still in school, it's best you start preparing yourself for the future of work. Now, to stay relevant, you have to do more than what you're doing now. You have to do, time is ticking and it's ticking very, very fast. In this industrial revolution, it has been said that time is going to be the currency because time will be moving very, very fast. We just started the year and it's already June. And before you know it, July is gone. Before you know it, this year is over. What have you done? What have you achieved? What have you done to make yourself better? What have you done to make yourself employable? Another thing we need to know is you have to have a disruptive approach to things. What does it mean to be disruptive? You have to be able to challenge the conventional. You have to be able to ask the question, why? Okay, why am I doing this? Why do I need this? Why do I need to be here? Why do I need to stay here? Why do I have to say this? You have to be able to challenge the conventional way of thinking in order to gain customers for against your competitors. Because really, the oil and gas is a very competitive industry. In short, all industries are very competitive, but the oil and gas is more competitive because everybody's doing the same thing. How can I be better? How can I make my team better? How can I make my department better so they can get this job? Now, finally, from Deloitte, the future of work is being shaped by two powerful forces: the growing adoption of AI in the workplace and the expansion of the workforce to include both on and off balance sheet talent. Of course, we understand what artificial intelligence in the workplace is: data analytics, business analytics, understanding conventional way of doing things. Then again, the expansion of the workforce to include both on and off balanced data sheets. So an on and off balanced data sheet is basically you having the necessary hard skills, which is petroleum engineering background or whatever background you have, and you having soft skills, like I said, disruptive thinking, content creation, so many other things I listed before. With that, I think we have come to the end of this session. My final advice, like I said from the beginning, is time waits for no one. What you have to do quick. Thank you so much for listening. If you have questions, let me know.
Thank you, Freda. Hi, guys. Have you any questions? Okay. So, thank you, Freda, for the interesting presentation. And I have a few questions. First of all, can you tell us how you got the position in Schlumberger? I mean, the step by step, how you can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I went to all my schooling was in Nigeria, but with affiliation to schools in France. So I graduated with my bachelor's from petroleum engineering in 2014, and I worked for a while as a business development executive. During that period, I knew I wanted more. I knew I needed to be more. So I decided to go back for my master's in petroleum engineering. On finishing the master's, no, during the master's, I applied to, of course, different companies, but my focus was on Schlumberger and Total because those are the companies I really, really loved. I loved their way of working and their way of doing things. Eventually, I got called. I actually have a comprehensive LinkedIn publication on how I got the job, but I'm going to summarize here. So I applied, wrote the test, did the interview, but something stood out for me during the interview process. So my interviewing manager at the very final stage, after the interview, she walked me down the aisle, down to the front door, and she said, keep your mind open like it is now already. You never know what will happen. For me, I just wanted to get a job and stay in my country, Nigeria. Like I wasn't thinking too big of becoming an expatriate or anything. But eventually my offer letter came and I was an expert, and I was really happy because now it has given me the platform to be better. It has given me the platform to start this women network, and I'm so happy about it. And basically that's how I got the job, basically.
Good. Great. Thank you. So, Sofa?
Hello all. Thank you, Freda, for your presentation. I also work in Schlumberger, and I have a question related to different segments. Is it better to work in one segment and go up in your positions, or it will be better to be in one segment, work 1 year or 2 years, and then change it and go to another?
Can I ask what segment you are in Schlumberger?
Well, service.
What segment in well services?
Cementing, but for now, due to some reasons of this virus and everything, I've changed to scent control. And I don't know, is it better or maybe it's not very good.
It depends. I don't know how long you've been in.
I'm working
in scent control.
3 months and in cementing, and I didn't started my work on the platform. So just work in the office, and for now I should change my subsegment. It's not segment, it's subsegment. So what's your thinking and advice?
Well, for me, I would say the more exposure you have, the better for you. Like really, if you just started, like you said, 3 months, and you've done something in cementing, you've done something in sand control. For me, I think it's really great. But then you need to be able to stay long enough in a segment so you can develop expertise. Long enough is relative. Some people can stay for 5 years in a segment. Some people can stay for 4 years in a segment. Do you understand? So it really depends on you. Sincerely, it depends on you. And again, it depends on the business needs. For example, what if there are no sand control jobs now? There are no cementing jobs. You most likely need to work more on cementing, right? You get the concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it depends on you at the end of the day.
So, but about future development, what's would be better?
Uh, Really, I'm a cementing engineer, so I really can't say. But for the best thing to do is open yourself to any challenge that comes. Really, you never can tell what will happen. Never can tell what will really happen. Never can tell when an opportunity will come and you just fit in. Open yourself. That's the advice I can give.
Thank
Don't
you.
streamline your mind to, oh, I want to be this. You understand?
Yeah.
Because the industry is always changing.